Hello and welcome to a new video. Today I am bringing you I'm going to call it a springy type video because I'm giving you all of the romance books I currently have on my TBR. So if you've been watching my vlogs, you'll know that I am very much not in the mood for like high fantasy and sci-fi and everything. I am fully on romance. It can be fantasy romance. I'm okay with fantasy romance, but it has to have mostly romance in it. So I thought I would just go through the books that are currently I own that I haven't read yet, that are mostly romance, or that I think are mostly romance, and I'm going to be trying to get to these fairly soon because I am like really on a romance like binge right now and it's making me so happy. I also thought I'd take the opportunity to wear one of my new dresses that I got because it's just so summery and cute and I'm obsessed with it. So most of these are adult, but I do have a few YA that I'm gonna just talk about first. I'm not as into YA romance as I used to be. I think where I am like 29 now. Like, as much as I do still enjoy it sometimes, I very much am into adult romance. But YA romance gives me the nostalgia of being that age and having that first love, and it's just very cute sometimes. So I'm still into it sometimes. So first up, we have Perfect on Paper by Sophie Gonzalez. Now, I loved Only Mostly Devastated, and obviously she co-wrote If This Gets Out, which is one of my favourite books. So I have very high hopes for this one. I believe this is a bisexual main character, which is what drew me to it mostly. I think she falls in love with her best friend, but I honestly don't know much about this because Sophie Gonzalez is essentially an auto-bi author for me now. So I just sort of bought it without actually knowing what it's about, but it sounds good, so hoping to get to this one soon. To be fair, I'm hoping to get to all of these soon, so if I say that for all of these books, I apologise. Next, we have As Far As You'll Take Me by Phil Stamper. This one, a boy heads to London for a music course, a summer music course, and he meets a boy, and that's all I know about it. But again, I have read another one of Phil Stamper's books. I've read The Gravity of Us, and I really loved that book. It was so adorable. So, high hopes for this one, and we'll see. Okay, this one I'm not actually sure if it's YA, new adult or adult, but it was in the YA section. That doesn't mean a thing, obviously, as we know. But it is the Falling in Love montage by Ciara or Kiara Smith. All I know about this is it's sapphic. I literally know nothing else about it. And that was, I've seen loads of people talk about it and rave about it, and the colours of the cover are just gorgeous, and I'm intrigued, so I picked it up and it looks like a fun time. Next is another one I just picked up in Waterstones. It was on a buy one get one half price and it sounded really cute, and that is A Faux Love Story by Loan Lee. This one is the two main characters like each other, but their families are like rival restaurants, own rival restaurants, I think. So it's kind of like a Romeo and Juliet style thing, which sounds just so cool, but with the food. And I'm like here for the food because like, yes, but I feel like this is going to be really cute. So yeah. And then the last one, which I'm not sure if this is YA or adult. I became aware of it after finishing If This Gets Out and wanted more music based romance, and that is It Goes Like This by Meal Moreland. So this is about a girl band, and the girl band has split up and they come back. I think there's been history between two of the members before, and they come back together to do a like a charity event thing, and there's a possible romance again. I'm not sure. It just sounds really good and I am here for it. So, but again, I'm not sure exactly how old the characters are, so I'm not sure if it is a YA or not, but yeah. And then we go on to the adult. So I've split it up into contemporary and fantasy. I have an actual pretty even mix of the two, which I'm very proud of myself. Look at me branching out away from fantasy. I'm really happy I'm doing this because the few contemporary romance I read last year I absolutely adored. So the fact that I'm actually giving contemporary romance a proper go and I'm no longer in denial, I like romance books, because I have been pretty much in denial for a while trying to say, I'm not a contemporary reader. Oh, I don't like romance. But no, let's be real. I do. And this is proving it, because I have built up quite a collection and now I'm actually in the mood to read it all. So I've already read a few this month. So yeah, let's go. Okay, so the first one is actually the third in a series of standalones, and that is Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. I really enjoyed reading the first 2 books last year, especially the first one. Chloe is my favourite. But this one, I believe, is Enemies to Lovers. Is it Enemies to Lovers? I think it might be Enemies to Lovers. But I'm really excited. I've heard good things about Eve. I've also heard mixed things about Eve, actually, to be fair. But I think I'm going to like Eve Brown more than I liked Dani Brown. So we shall see. Next up, we have 2 from the same author, and that is The Flat Share and The Switch by Beth O'Leary. I've heard many, many good things. And I'm actually going to be putting The Flat Share on my TBR for May, because apparently this will fit with the false proximity prompt on Royal Readathon. So I will be reading this, and I don't know when I'm going to get to this, but I'm hoping I enjoy both of them. Beth O'Leary does have at least one other book out, so if I do enjoy The Flat Share, then I am most likely going to pick up the other book as well, or the other books, however many there are. So they are another 2. Next, we have one that I had never heard of before, but I saw it in Waterstones and was like, I'm gonna need that in my life. And that is Rescue Me by Sarah Manning. This one is, these 2 people are both wanting to adopt this same dog, and they end up doing like a co-custody with this dog. And obviously they're going to end up falling in love, and yeah, that's my theories for the book. It's a romance, so of course something like that's going to happen, but I'm very excited to read this. Plus there's a cute dog in it, which wins automatically. Next, we have You and Me on Vacation by Emily Henry. I have heard many, many good things about Emily Henry, and I've been wanting to give her books a go for a while. There is a book coming out, I think next month or the month after, called Book Lovers, which sounds incredible, but this one sounds so good. There is also a couple more books out by this author, I think, which I definitely want to give a go, but I thought I would start off with this one and see where it goes. Next, we have The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren, which I think this is a fake dating trope, which I'm automatically sold on. Everyone but her and this boy. Oh, is this also Enemies to Lovers? This is also Enemies to Lovers. Oh my god. It's Enemies to Lovers and fake dating. Bumping that up my TBR. So like the entire wedding party, apart from her and this guy, get food poisoning. So her and this guy, who is like her arch nemesis, decide to pretend to be the newlyweds to go on the honeymoon so it doesn't go to waste. And obviously things are going to happen. I'm so excited for this one. I didn't actually realise it was Enemies to Lovers. I knew about the fake dating, but I didn't actually know about the Enemies to Lovers, I don't think. So bumping that up my TBR. Next, we have Spoiler Alert by Olivia Dade. I am so excited for this one because this is like fandoms. Like, he is on the biggest, he's the star of a bigger show on TV, but he also writes fan fiction. And she is a fan of his show, and she's hidden her fanfic and cosplay hobby from her real life, but not anymore. And things are going to happen, and it literally sounds like a fanfiction I've read before years ago, but with a twist, and I am here for it because I love things like that. Like, honestly, I'm so excited for this one. Next up, we have Donut Fall in Love by Jackie Lau. This one I found accidentally whilst doing my anticipated reads lists last year, and ended up pre-ordering it and got this absolutely amazing floppy edition. I love it. So this one, I don't actually remember what it's about, but there's donuts involved. So yeah, and the name is literally a pun. So obviously that's what drew me into it, and then it sounded pretty good. But I'm not going to reread the blurb just because I want to go into it a bit blind with it when I do read it, because I bought it for a reason. It sounded good, so I'm not going to doubt myself. And then the final one on the contemporary side, I think it has a sci-fi kind of twist with like time travel or something, and that is One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. Now, I love Red, White and Royal Blue so much. I don't know if I'm going to like this because apparently this is a lot more slow burn, and I'm not a massive fan of slow burn. It needs to be done right, but I've got it. I'm gonna give it a go. I like Casey McQuiston's writing and the premise does sound really good, so I'm gonna give it a go. It's like, I think it's a bisexual main character, which I'm here for. So yeah. Okay, now we move on to the more fantasy side. So first up we have Radiance by Grace Draven. I don't actually remember much about this other than there is like, and I'm going to just talk over Belle's barking, and there's an arranged marriage, and it's got two people brought together by the trappings of duty and politics will discover they are destined for each other, even as the powers of a hostile kingdom scheme to tear them apart. I'm here for this. I'm here for this. So yeah, I don't really know much about it, but I think he might be Fae. Yeah, so I think he might be Fae, so that has me sold instantly. So I think this might be a self-published author as well. It feels like a self-published book, if that makes sense. Yeah, by the looks of things, it is self-published. But I discovered this when I was buying something for someone off their wish list, and I got them this, and then added it to my own wish list because it sounded really good. So yeah. Next up is a sequel. I highly recommend the first book, but I personally need to continue the series. It's a trilogy, I believe, but there is also a novella. I've only read the first book. And that is A Strange Hymn by Laura Thalassa. So this is the second book in the Bargainer series. I loved Rhapsodic so much. So yeah, she's a siren, and he, I believe, if I recall, is Fae, and I'm just so here for it. The first book was so good, and I cannot wait. Like, honestly, cannot wait to read this one. Next up we have Dark Lover by J.R. Wald. This is the first book in the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. I think this is vampires. Is it yeah, the only purebred vampire left on the planet. Okay, so it's a vampire, and I need this. I'm really excited. I've heard very many good things about this series. I have the first two books, which is Dark Lover and Lover Eternal. So I'm really excited to get to this because we need more vampires. We need more vampires. Next up we have the X Hex by Erin Sterling. So this is witchy, which I don't have any other witchy ones on here. So I've heard many good things about this. So yeah, I'm really excited to read this, and I just absolutely love the premise of this, where she like curses this guy who breaks her heart, and the curse ends up bringing them back together a few years later. I'm like, yes, yes please. So yeah. Next up is a mythology inspired one, and that is A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett Sinclair. This is a Hades and Persephone retelling, and apparently it has lots of smut in it. I don't know how much smut, but I'm here for it. I'm very excited to read this, and yeah, I think there is a sequel to this as well, but I am intrigued, and who wouldn't fall in love with Hades? Let's be real. Yes, I have issues, I am aware. And then the final ones is 4 books, which are the 2nd to 5th books in a series. I have read the first one. I loved the first one so much. I do still need to get the 6th and final book, but we have the rest of the Wicked Villain series by Katie Robert. So I have Learn My Lesson, A Worthy Opponent, The Beast, and The Sea Witch. I still need a Queen Takes Rose or something like that, but for now I have these 4 to read, and oh my god, I'm so excited. They are obviously very dark, smutty retellings of Disney, but set in this like alternative universe. The first one is Jasmine and Jafar. This is Hades and Megra. This is Hook and Tink, I believe. This is Belle, Beast and Gaston, and this is Ursula, or Ursa, I don't know who else. I'm not going to read. I'm not going to read because I don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, I'm very excited for these. I am obsessed with Desperate Measures. It was so good. And I just want to binge this series. So I am going to get the final book and then just binge the other 5 books. Because that's what I'm in the mood for right now. So these ones. Okay, so I think that is all of the romance heavy books I have on my TBR. If you're looking at some behind here and you can see them, I'm sorry, I've missed them. But these are the ones I browse through my shelves. These are the ones that I absolutely know focuses on the romance. So these are the ones that are going to be very, very high up on my TBR. May's TBR is mostly going to be romance, whether it's fantasy romance, contemporary romance, whatever, but it's what I want to read. So don't expect any like major fantasy themed vlogs anytime soon, because it's not what I want to read. I'm being good to myself and just reading what I want, which is good, but that is the video. If you have any recommendations for any romance, I don't do cheat and trope books, and I'm trying to think what else I don't do. Right, cheat and trope, we're gonna just rule out cheat and tropes completely. If there's cheating in the book, don't give me a recommendation for it. Don't give me any Colleen Hoover recommendations. But if you have any other recommendations for either like fantasy romance or contemporary romance, let me know in the comments below, because I definitely need to expand my collection even more. I apologise for how bunged up I sound. I am still a little bit ill, but I had to film something, and this is the best I've been in like a week and a half almost. So we're rolling with it. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Bye.